welcome back everybody. This is Mog once more, Mog's Cast, playing some more Kerbal Space Program tonight. And we're jumping back into our normal routine of having a build episode on our Saturday nights, or well, mornings I guess, whatever. I'll upload it in the morning, I'm sure. But yeah, so we're going to be doing some new things today. We've got some new parts. We've got the big thing that I wanted to play around with is our new docking clamps. So we have some docking clamps. So I want to actually make a Rendezvous episode and go up and do the Rendezvous and get all the science that might be associated with that. I really don't know how much. It might be like a vessel return sort of a deal. The other thing is the new update just came out, and with that we also have a new lab component that we can actually send out into space, into like a space station, and actually have a mobile lab. So that will allow us to process experiments on location rather than having to send all data back home, or for example return a vessel. So you can transfer the science to this lab and have it processed the same way, is what I understand. There's also some new things you can check out here in the builder overall. Like you can, well, okay, maybe not these parts, but you can right click on it and it'll expand the menu, and you can check out some extra stats on them and such. Or you can keep it right clicked and just have the small quick little descriptions there. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and I think it was the Gemini missions that did the first rendezvous and dockings together. Is that right? It might not be right, but whatever. Gemini, Schmemini, there we go. I'm gonna fix that too. That's the Schmemini 1. And what we're going to be doing is building a single rocket that's going to basically get itself into a Kerbal orbit, and then we're going to send up a second rocket, and they're just going to rendezvous. That's how it's going to go down. So why don't we go ahead and choose something that a docking clamp will fit on, like this guy. So we're going to build a fairly bulky rocket, I think. I don't want to give it a whole heck of a lot of gear, because we're actually just going to be doing some quick things up there, but and we really don't need to get it too up there. So we just kind of need to get a decent setup on this ship. So let's find some RCS, make sure that we don't forget about that, because that's something we're certainly going to need on this mission. Why don't we store the RCS? Did I say SAS previously? I think I might have. Anyway, we're going to store that out there on the tip, and then we're also going to have some extra mono tanks on the sides, I think, to make sure that we have enough for this. I also want to put on, I think we want to do an ASAS. So good SAS unit. Let's take a look so far at our center of mass. I'm going to put that back for now. Why don't we go ahead and toss on an engine as well. Let's do the Poodle engine for these little guys, because they're not going to be pushing much weight. So right about there, let's put the RCS radials on there and see how much we'll weigh. Let's put these ones toward the back, just to make sure. All good. And you know what we're also going to do with these? We're going to set them up so that they can be brought back to the surface, obviously, to collect the science. So let's put on some good landing struts here. 4 of them. Are those going to reach? Those might not even reach with this engine. I guess we don't have to do a Poodle. We can do a shorter engine. It'll just look funky. Why don't we do... You know what? Why don't we just do like some radial engines? That should be fine. We can toss this up there a little ways and just do some radial engines. That'll work for me. I'm okay with this. So we got our radial engine set up. Let's put a docking clamp, or a docking port up front. We'll do the shielded one. And why don't we... Where's the hatch? There's the hatch. I kind of want to put some lights on here and everything for like spotlighting. Why don't we do these guys for our forward spotlights? That's going to be bright. So once we get to that point, we're going to be actually shutting those guys off and just using a single forward facing, I think, is going to be the idea. Maybe I'll do 2 so that's on both sides, at least. But okay, we'll just do like the forward facing floodlights, just to keep it interesting. Actually, we're going to do it 3 of them so that they won't be all blocked by shields. Because when those unfold, they'll unfold right in between them, I suppose. So we'll just do them like that. That'll work well. There's lots of forward-facing light. Let's put on a ladder system for our Kerbals. We're just going to be going straight down the side. Pretty much. Right like that. Is that going to be good enough? I know we won't really need it, but I don't know. I kind of like to have them look nice at least. Why don't we do the other one just like that? And then we'll put one more right in here so that they're side by side. They should be able to transfer over to this ladder, I think. If not, whatever. It's not a big deal. But we also need to remember that this part is coming back home. This top part. So with these tanks, so what we're also going to do here, since we don't have the ability to put a forward-facing parachute or like a top partition parachute, we're going to stick 3 right there. And then we want to make sure that we strut that together so it doesn't get torn off. Like the RCS tank come off of this thing, that would be bad. Why don't we, you know what actually might be a better idea? Do we have small strut? No, we've only got a huge strut. Okay, I was gonna say like we could stand out the lights a little bit and use it as an anchor point, but that's way too big of a strut. So we'll just use the cable strut. I guess this is a strut, isn't it? Let's use the cable strut. We'll just go with a 3 symmetry. And we'll just go to the very outside. That shouldn't block anything. I think that'll be good. Doesn't block a window, doesn't block a window. Cool. I think that'll hold things together. I hope so. So I think that part is good to go. So let's save that, and we're gonna move this up and just do a final check. I just kind of want to make sure that we're looking okay. We got that. Oh, we don't have batteries. Batteries is one thing we're gonna need, and the ability to generate power. Let's do 4 right above the legs. That shouldn't be a problem. We can even lower these. Actually, we have bigger batteries. Let's just roll with these guys. That's too big. It won't fit under the ladder. Alright, we'll just go with these. That's fine. Right there. Looks good to me. Let's take, how about some of these guys too. Those will push out when everything's clamped away. Actually, that's kind of, I don't really like how that clips with that. Let's do it right. No, that looks goofy. Wouldn't work there. Can't really do it right there because of the ladders. Gerb. Will this work? No. Very well. We'll just do it to the side. That should be fine. That'll work. That shouldn't break. So those will extend. That'll allow us to generate some power at least. Why don't we call that part good? We got parachutes, we got lights, we got the docking ring all set up. I think we're good. Let's save this, and then we'll start building the launch rocket for it, or the launch portion. So stick on one of these guys, and I need to turn off symmetry before we get to something crazy. Why don't we do decent tank there? Actually, you know what I want to check first? How much does this thing weigh? So let's take a look with MechJeb. Plug that on real quick. And where's our menu? Are we getting a menu? Do I need to update MechJeb? I think I might. Right click, does it say anything? I probably do need to update MechJeb. That's unfortunate. Go away. Sorry, I right clicked on my desktop, so I had the little desktop menu. Top check one more time here. Make sure. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. I was just gonna check how much this thing weighed, but I guess not. Okay, so back there, let's toss a larger tank on here with a skipper. And let's copy this right there. Take that off for a moment. Pull that down to right there. Do that. I think we'll build around this. This should be alright. So let's save that where we got it. Let's zoom in, and we're going to put a few things on this stage. Actually, should we? No, I don't think we should. We should leave that stage alone. It's got enough power, I think, once it gets to that point. Let's do this guy so far, right there. We can copy that tank. Pull that off, get rid of it for the moment. That is centered. And centered pretty well. Is this too much? Is this too much? I wonder if these skippers are going to be able to lift it. This should be interesting. Do I have a nose cone yet? I have a small nose cone. Do one of those. Do a nose cone. That looks better. And last part, I think. Let's put a delta wing on here. Up a little ways so we got room for the clamp. Grab that. Position right there, and let's go 6 symmetry. Oops, not 8, we want to go 6. Right there, that's pretty well even. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm gonna go through and fuel up do the lines real quick with the fuel, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've got that all strutted up. I finished up the fuel lines. I haven't done the staging just yet, but we've got that all set up. I still need to add some extra stuff down here to actually get this thing off the ground, because I don't think the skippers are going to be enough to actually get this thing to orbit. Firstly, though, we're going to get this thing ready to launch by putting on a few launch clamps here, and making sure that that looks good. Lowest stage for those, cool, let's save that up. And I'm going to grab one of these guys, clip it right here, I think, and we're going to put some solid rocket boosters on this guy. So is that centered right there? I do believe so. If I can get a good angle on that, that looks centered to me. And engines are fairly level. That looks fine. Let me see if we can get those a little bit lower. Right there. That looks good, I think. And those are much more even with the rest of those engines. Sweet. I'm going to copy those right over to this side. And that should be about even. Sure looks even enough to me. Let's grab a few nose cones, get those all set up on this thing. Come on, click in there. Oh, you sneaky bastard. We'll just go right here. Oh, I hate you. I hate you, nose cone. Boy, do I hate you, nose cone. Okay, away with you. Let's try a fresh one. Nothing. What do we got? What do we got? What's blocking this thing? Anything? Ridiculousness? There we go. Okay. So we got that all strutted, well, all solid boosted up. I think that's going to be enough thrust to get this thing up. I hope it's going to be enough to actually push it up into orbit. We probably could do this with a much smaller rocket. But I don't know why I went overboard with this. This is probably too much. All the same, whatever. Just throwing it together. This is the Schmemini 1. I'm going to get it strutted up and then set up with the staging, and we'll get this thing out on the launch pad and make sure it's launch ready. Okay, we got this thing strutted, everything else is set up there. I forgot one thing, I should really have like a passive power generation bit on here, at least some. So I'm going to stick on a few panels here and see if I can get those to line up well enough. I think I'm going to call that okay and see what happens. It might block some of the path on the ladder. If I break that one, whatever, big deal. But I think that's going to do the trick. I might put another set facing the opposite direction so that we can generate something if the sun's behind us. In fact, I am going to do that right now. Let me see if I can find a good spot, though. Too much. Let's go right there and right there, why don't we? And then we'll go ahead and get this thing all saved up and ready to launch. So save that. Zoom on out here. We're going to get this thing. I guess I should really do the staging. I haven't done the staging yet. Okay, I'm going to take care of that, and we'll meet you on the launch pad. You guys have probably been screaming at me about forgetting my RCS, haven't you? I just realized that as I was getting to this final stage and setting up everything, I was like, I forgot my RCS tanks, or my RCS ports. That would have been a terrible, terrible mistake. We're going to go ahead and actually just unclick all of this for a moment. Take a look at our center of mass. Grab our RCS unit. Why don't we do one? Don't really want to set it on top of the battery. We could move the battery, I suppose. Why don't we put a battery right there? Does that look alright? Right like that. And instead, we'll put this here, and this here. That should be relative. RCS tanks are resilient. We'll make this work. Whatever. We got a few weirdo parts, but that's okay. Let's click this back together. Staging should all be okay. Detach, detach, yep. Those all look good. Final detach here and launches the parachute. So let's save this up and check our action groups, make sure there's nothing we need to do in here. I kind of want to set the panels to toggle with one. Actually, we're going to set the panels to 2. To 1, we're going to have the engine cluster. whole engine cluster. That's going to be firing with 1. And then pretty much everything else looks good. I guess we can set our, this guy to open the shields on 3. And it would be nice to have, I guess, these, lights on a different set too. So why don't we toggle these lights with 4. Toggle these lights with 5. That looks good to me. Save that up. Take a look at the crew. We don't want to send these 3 on here. We're going to send up, let's see, who haven't we sent up in a while? Or who's new that needs to be sent up still? Levi, I haven't really sent many for you, have I? I don't think I have. Neo G, I don't think did I get you sent up in the last mission? I did get you sent up in the last mission. Let's do, King Banshee. Captain Pax, maybe? Nah. We've already sent you up once or twice. Dr. Prohibitorium, sure. I think that was one that was requested. Phantom Pat and Pat Kerminski, for whatever reason, you're back in my list. Like, you didn't die at all, apparently. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but welcome back. You get 2. And let's send up Reynard. I haven't sent you up in a while, Reynard. Let's do this squad. These are the guys going up. Let's get out on this launch pad. Okay, we are out on the launch pad. And this thing is looking like it's pretty much ready to go, so let's do a quick dry run real quick, just in launch, make sure that we're not missing anything, shall we? I'm going to crank up this just a hair, fire those, release, and it seems like even a small amount of throttle with our main engines, those solid boosters are actually getting us up there, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of minimize for a moment. I'm just going to check this. This looks alright. We're getting some good fire in there. It's holding position really well. So I'm going to tilt just a hair, see how it handles it. We're going to get away from the launch pad so that when those solid rocket boosters come back down, they won't land on the launch pad is the idea. So there we go. I'm going to cut back our throttle just a hair. We're still gaining speed. We're doing okay, but those tanks are almost out. So as soon as I drop those, we're pretty much going to cut it. Boop. Those look good. Are we still gaining speed at full throttle? We'll probably lose speed just a hair. And oh, I'm a tank short, so we're losing speed here a little bit. I was a tank shy there. I should have kicked those out a little bit ago. That's okay, whatever. We're gonna call this one real quick. And just whee. Okay, so I reverted the stage back to the launch pad, so we're just going to go ahead and leave it on the launch pad ready to go and take a look. I wanted to show you the one other thing that came out with the new well, there was a few other things that came out with the patch, but this was the other big one, is in the Research and Development tab, we have a science archive where we can actually go to the different planetary bodies here and see what kind of reports that we've done, experiments, biomes that we've been to, and the reports in those biomes, and all that kind of stuff, so you can kind of check it all out and see what's earned you what. For example, some of these MUN landing bits got us quite a bit. Like, you can check out what stuff, like surface samples got us a big chunk and all that, so that looks pretty good. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until then, cheers.